Did you know that in the early 1980s, many critics considered Debra Winger the best young actress in Hollywood? In just a few short years, she'd starred opposite John Travolta, Richard Gere, and Shirley MacLaine, and had 2 Oscar nominations under her belt before she turned 30. She was seen as fearless, brilliant, and unpredictable, an actress who could play raw vulnerability and fierce independence in the same scene. And then she walked away. At the very height of her powers, Winger stepped back from Hollywood, frustrated by the industry and its treatment of women. Her disappearance became a mystery, even inspiring a documentary years later titled Searching for Debra Winger. So what the hell happened? Let's fade to black. Debra Winger was born in Cleveland Heights, Ohio in 1955. She grew up in a Jewish family with her father working as a meat packer. Winger later said she always felt like an outsider, sharp-witted, stubborn, and unwilling to play by anyone's rules. After high school, a freak accident left her partially blind and in the hospital for months. Doctors told her she might never see again, but when her vision returned, Winger felt like she'd been given a second chance, and she vowed to live life without compromise. She studied briefly in Israel, returned to the US, and almost by accident found her way into acting. Her very first role? A bit part as Wonder Girl, the younger sister of Linda Carter's Wonder Woman on the hit TV series. Winger hated the role and turned down a contract to appear in more episodes. She wanted serious acting, not spandex. That gamble paid off. In 1980, Winger landed her breakthrough in Urban Cowboy opposite John Travolta. The role transformed her from a relative unknown into a bona fide star. Directed by James Bridges and set against the backdrop of Texas honky-tonk culture, Urban Cowboy became a surprise box office hit, pulling in over $53 million domestically on a $10 million budget. The film sparked a nationwide country chic craze, with sales of cowboy boots, hats, and western shirts surging. Winger's performance as Sissy was singled out by critics for its authenticity. She wasn't playing a polished Hollywood heroine, but a flawed, tough, and fiercely independent woman. Pauline Kael praised her for bringing a lived-in truth to every frame. The film didn't just make her a star, it put her on the shortlist for serious dramatic roles at a time when most female leads were still being written as one-dimensional love interests. If Urban Cowboy made her a star, then An Officer and a Gentleman made her iconic. Released in 1982, the film cast her opposite Richard Gere in a romantic drama about love, class, and ambition. Winger brought grit and realism to a role that could have been a cliché. The chemistry between her and Gere was electric, though famously, behind the scenes the two did not get along. Director Taylor Hackford later admitted the set was emotionally intense, and that Winger and Gere often kept their distance between takes. Winger herself described Gere as a brick wall, while Gere admitted they never connected personally. Still, the final product was unforgettable. The ending, with Gere sweeping her off the factory floor, remains one of the most romantic moments in movie history. The performance earned her an Academy Award nomination. The film itself was a commercial juggernaut, grossing over $190 million worldwide, and was credited with revitalizing the romantic drama genre in the early 80s. Critics like Roger Ebert noted Winger's ability to ground the melodrama with raw, unvarnished emotion. Just a year later, Winger was nominated again, this time for Terms of Endearment, one of the great American dramas of the 1980s. Playing the flawed but deeply human daughter opposite Shirley MacLaine, Winger brought raw power and vulnerability to the role. Her hospital scenes remain devastating to this day. The film swept the 1984 Oscars, winning Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actress for MacLaine. Many noted that the film's mother-daughter tension was amplified by Winger and MacLaine's real-life clashes on set. While both later downplayed the feud, MacLaine famously quipped in her acceptance speech, "I deserved this," a line widely read as a dig at Winger. Critics credited Winger with giving the film its unpredictable edge. She made the character messy and impulsive, believable, avoiding the sentimentality that could have sunk it. By this point, Winger's reputation as difficult was firmly set in Hollywood gossip circles. She reportedly clashed not just with MacLaine and Gere, but also with directors who tried to rein her in. Winger has said she never sought conflict, she just refused to take roles or direction that she didn't feel were honest. In an industry that expected actresses to smile and comply, this made her an outlier. She turned down major studio offers if she felt the scripts were weak, walking away from potential blockbusters in favour of smaller, riskier projects. To the press, this became a narrative about her being hard to work with, but to those who admired her, it was about integrity. In 1990, Winger took another risk with Bernardo Bertolucci's The Sheltering Sky. This was no mainstream romance. It was an art house odyssey about existential despair filmed across the deserts of North Africa. Winger's performance was mesmerizing, but the film divided critics and audiences. Some hailed it as haunting and poetic, while others dismissed it as pretentious and slow. For Winger, the project was proof she was chasing art, not box office, working with an Oscar-winning director on a passion piece that would challenge her. Not all of her 90s roles went unnoticed. In 1993, she starred in Shadowlands alongside Anthony Hopkins, playing the American poet Joy Gresham, who falls in love with writer C.S. Lewis. It's one of her most moving performances, tender, emotional, and restrained. The role earned her a BAFTA nomination. The film received critical acclaim, holding a 94% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and was described by the New York Times as a quietly devastating love story. At the time, many critics referred to it as Winger's quiet comeback, proof she could still captivate when she chose to return. In 2002, actress Rosanna Arquette released a documentary titled Searching for Debra Winger. It wasn't just about Winger, but about why so many actresses leave Hollywood. Winger appeared in it candidly, discussing her decision to step away. She explained that she wanted a real life, marriage, family, and personal fulfillment, things that the relentless machine of Hollywood rarely allowed. Winger had married actor Arliss Howard in 1996, and together they built a quiet life away from Los Angeles. But she didn't stay away forever. Winger returned to acting sporadically in the 2000s and 2010s, choosing small but powerful roles. In Jonathan Demme's Rachel Getting Married in 2008, she gave a blistering performance as Anne Hathaway's estranged mother. Critics hailed it as one of her best. In The Lovers in 2017, she played opposite Tracy Letts in a mature romantic drama about a long-married couple on the verge of collapse. The role reminded audiences of her talent, raw, subtle, and devastating. And in 2020, she appeared in Miranda Julie's Kajillionaire, playing part of a bizarre, eccentric family in one of the decade's strangest indie movies. These days, Debra Winger acts only when she feels the role is worth it. She appeared in the Netflix sitcom The Ranch alongside Sam Elliott and Ashton Kutcher, but otherwise keeps a low profile. She's been outspoken about women in Hollywood, critical of its ageism, and honest about why she left. Her personal life has remained relatively private. She and Arliss Howard are still together, raising a son, and she's spoken often about valuing a life away from the industry spotlight. So what actually happened to Debra Winger? Her legacy isn't measured by how many films she made, but by the quality of the ones she left behind. Some actors work their entire careers without a single defining performance. Winger gave us several. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and I really do look forward to seeing you all in the next one.